Taylor Swift has always been a master of reinvention, from country sweetheart to pop powerhouse, from folklore to full-blown spectacle. But when The Life of a Showgirl dropped, the internet had opinions. Swifties, who usually bulk buy the 30+ variants she drops without question, were not amused this time. Don't get me wrong, they still bought the variants, of course, which led to Taylor's biggest debut ever, and the biggest since 1991, with over 4 million units sold in the first week. But then came the crash. Sales dropped a staggering 91% in week 2, down to just 345,000 units. And that's when the discourse really began. Does Travis Kelce suck as a muse, or what? Does the internet only love Taylor when she's depressed? What's going on with the lyrics from the so-called Shakespeare of our generation? Did she finally run out of material? Is she quietly throwing shade at Travis's exes, who, let's just say, look a little different than she does? So the question becomes, what does The Life of a Showgirl actually tell us about Taylor Swift? All that and more will be answered in today's video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here, and Taylor Swift refuses to take a break. It's honestly inspiring. She keeps me going. But at what point will the world finally decide it's had enough of Taylor Swift? As Olivia Rodrigo put it, you have everything and you still want more. The numbers keep climbing, so in her analytical mind, what she's doing is clearly working. Taylor not only takes a direct jab at Charli XCX and Actually Romantic, but she also circles around themes of struggle and exhaustion through tracks like Father Figure and Eldest Daughter, even though they land a little flat for some fans. The lead single, The Fate of Ophelia, which has quickly become a fan favorite, sounds like something we've heard before, and interestingly, Charlie Puth has even come to her defense.
Lately, there's been a lot of discussion about when two songs have similar melodies. There's only 12 notes in a scale, so when you're writing a new song, there are bound to be similarities to an older song.
I guess he still feels a little indebted to Taylor after that "We declare Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist" lyric from the Tortured Poets department. And while fans expected more of that flapper meets burlesque Christina Aguilera vibes and vocals, Taylor explained that this record is actually about what happens behind the glitz and glamour. You know, talking about the showgirl life, the pressure to perform, to be perfect, to always have it together, honestly makes me think about how I handle stress in my own life, and lately, when I need to unwind but still satisfy the perfectionist side of me that runs this channel, I've been playing Merge Cooking. It's this super fun merge-style cooking game where you organize, sort, and combine ingredients to create dishes and unlock themed restaurants all around the world. From Paris to Tokyo, you can even merge kitchen tools with this new feature called Equipment Fusion, which lets you build your own cooking systems. It's the kind of brain-teasing puzzle that feels productive but still relaxing. I love fixing up my restaurant, fulfilling customer orders, and merging to get more coins. And the best part? Merge Cooking is totally free. No ads, no hidden fees, and you can play completely offline. It's perfect for those moments when you just need a break from everything but don't want to totally zone out or doom scroll on social media, a habit I've been trying to break. I'm currently on level 5, and as someone who loves order and precision, the merging part is ridiculously satisfying. Watching my restaurants come together piece by piece just scratches that perfectionist itch in the best way. So if you want to try it out, download Merge Cooking with my link down below, or scan the QR code on screen. It's such a fun way to relax and reset. And now, back to the woman who clearly doesn't believe in taking a break. The Life of a Showgirl is Taylor's 12th studio album, and since COVID, she's dropped 10 albums, including the Taylor's Version re-recordings, so yeah, rest is not in her vocabulary. The master of her own game, greed, variance, and power. The first thing we gotta talk about is Taylor releasing 6 million variants of one album. More specifically, 34 different variations at the time of this recording, including 27 physical iterations, so 18 CDs, 8 vinyl LPs, and 1 cassette. Then there are the 7 download variants, which only include bonus acoustic tracks. Those are titled
Eldest Daughter, Now Your Home acoustic version, The Fate of Ophelia, Alone in My Tower acoustic version, Wishlist, Settled Down acoustic version, and The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter dressing room rehearsal version.
The variants have such unserious names like Sweat and Vanilla Perfume Portofino Orange Glitter Vinyl, Sweat and Vanilla Perfume CD with poster, It's Beautiful Edition Limited Release Deluxe CD, It's Frightening Edition Limited Release Deluxe CD, The Shiny Bug Edition Winter Green and Onyx Marbled Vinyl and Violet Shimmer Marbled Vinyl, Baby That's Show Business Edition Lovely Bouquet Golden Vinyl, The Crowd Is Your King Edition Summertime Spritz Pink Shimmer Vinyl Target Exclusive. Just like the title of one of the CD variants, it's frightening. And she does this for a limited time only, so for the Deluxe So Punk on the Internet version, yes, that's the actual name, It was only available for 6.5 hours with 7 original songwriting voice memos, which we'll get to that in a moment. The comments said it all. Damn girl, how expensive is the wedding? One more variant and I'm blocking you, diva. It's giving life of a capitalist. Taylor, please, as one of your biggest fans, this is gross. Unless your next variant releases the Epstein files, I think we can put a pin in it. It's really rare for different versions of songs to be the main thing fans listen to. No one is really listening to the dubstep club remix or acoustic version, but it definitely fills in the gap when you need those additional sales to break a record. And the gag here is that it's not like anyone was remotely close in blocking Taylor from #1. But she wanted to break Adele's record, which was the biggest first week sales for any album in US history, held by Adele for her album 25. Throwing shade, a stats account for Adele said, after 8 years of multiple attempts, countdowns, variants, bundles, and trying the highest on Billboard rules, the 3.48 million copies record held by Adele has been broken. We congratulate Taylor Swift for this example of resilience and effort since Reputation. Of course, back then, things were different. Social media wasn't the reigning champ it is today, streaming was barely a thing, and people were still buying albums to actually listen to them, not just to collect a pretty vinyl for the aesthetic. And let's be real, Adele didn't have 30 variants to her name like our Showgirl. From what I've seen, that's actually part of why Taylor was low-key beefing with Billie Eilish and Charli XCX behind the scenes. I've had this confirmed by sources, and I've been talking about it for a year. Here is my tweet from August 2024, and now Taylor's finally addressing it head on. She's giving us the behind-the-scenes tea about what Charli said about her, and it just proves one thing. Taylor doesn't let anything go. You think she's engaged. Why would she still tweak over what was going on behind the scenes of Maddie Healy's shows? But Taylor is a master of her own game, and she plays to win. We see this in Father Figure. When I found you, you were young, wayward, lost in the cold. The song opens up from a perspective of the antagonist. Most fans think this is Scott Borchetta, talking to a young Taylor before fame. You remind me of a younger me, I saw potential. This mirrors her song, Clairbeau, but Taylor flips the perspective. Instead of a young artist idolizing her, the father figure here, assumed to be Scott Borchetta, is looking at her as an asset, someone with potential to profit from, like an investment. In the chorus, I'll be your father figure, I drink that brown liquor, I can make deals with the devil because my d***'s bigger. This love is pure profit, just step into my office, I dry your tears with my sleeve. Taylor leans into a mafia-style metaphor.
Are you in the mafia?
Am I in a what?
It's a dark satirical take on the music industry's father figures who claim to nurture young artists but really just profit off of them. The Godfather imagery, the deals with the devil, and even the comfort line all point back to her own experience with Scott Borchetta. Power, manipulation, and betrayal dressed up as mentorship. Then in the bridge, the POV changes from Scott Borchetta to Taylor. I saw a change in you. She's controlling the narrative now that she's become an ultra-successful artist. She sings "My Dear Boy" as a way to infantilize him or those around her who made foolish and childish decisions regarding her masters. Your thoughtless ambition sparked the ignition on foolish decisions, which led to misguiding visions. To fulfill your dreams, you had to get rid of me. This basically references how Scott Borchetta, the former record label CEO, became too greedy in trying to sell her masters without consulting her, like she claims, and it backfired on him. In the last chorus, she's now the father figure, and we drank that brown liquor. You wanna fight? You found it. I got the place surrounded. AKA, I run shit now. I'm the biggest artist, I'll release 80 variations and they'll still eat it up. You'll be sleeping with the fishes before you know you're drowning, whose portraits on the mantle, who covered up your scandals. These lines continue the mafia metaphor, showing Taylor as the one in control. Sleeping with the fishes references a classic mob-style punishment, signaling danger for anyone who crosses her. The questions about portraits and covering up scandals emphasize her power and influence. She knows who's loyal, who isn't, and who has protected her legacy along the way. It's all about her taking command and holding people accountable in her empire. Mistake my kindness for weakness and find your card cancelled. I was your father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. This empire belongs to me. These lyrics show Taylor fully in control. Mistake my kindness for weakness is a warning. Don't underestimate her, or there will be consequences. Find your card cancelled implies she can revoke favors, access, or status. The father figure line flips the earlier dynamic. She was once guided or controlled, but now she holds the power. Finally, this empire belongs to me is a bold statement of ownership and authority. Taylor is no longer the prodigy, she is running the show. She doesn't pretend like she's not out for power and full control in the song. She fesses up, she throws it in our faces, and I feel like this ties back into the issue of greed when it comes to her releasing 30+ variants, because she knows she'll keep winning and she wants to win. She wants to be on top by a landslide. She purposely released US and UK specific variants of the Tortured Poets department to block both Billie Eilish and Charli XCX's albums from hitting #1 last year, and it's believed that they teamed up on guests to throw shade at Taylor. But she's still here, she's still reigning, and the constant winning and domination will only fuel her need for more. I've been saying this about Taylor since 2014, long before she gave you guys a hint into how she operates in Mastermind on the Midnight's album. She is out for blood, and what she sets her mind to, she'll get. Stay tuned for the psychology of Taylor Swift, because besties, that's officially in the works. The sound and concept when the Showgirl doesn't show up. The album was marketed as a glitzy showgirl spectacle. People expected burlesque, jazz-infused, or Vegas-inspired sound. As I mentioned earlier in the video, they were looking for Christina Aguilera-esque vocals, which is comical. The album wasn't that. It wasn't a new sound. It was just Taylor. And I expected that because she had previously said,
"What is the theme of the album, if you would describe it as one theme, if that's possible?"
I would say it's everything that was going on behind the curtain.
Okay.
There was a lot of hype because she worked with Max Martin and Shellback, who have produced numerous hits for Taylor, such as Shake It Off, Blank Space, Delicate, and more. In one of the mini variants she released, some of them included the raw voice memos of Taylor coming up with the lyrics and sound. Those have gone viral on TikTok.
Skate unsaid the ice inside my veins. They ripped me off like false lessons and threw me away. And all the headshots on the walls of the dance hall, the bitches who'd wish I'd hurry up and die. Good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cooked in Gucci and in Scandal. Yeah.
Many people felt like she was trying a bit too hard to be quirky, forcing that cute, hearty laugh, which naturally brought comparisons to the old Taylor, the one who casually released the Blank Space voice memo for free. Back then, she not only sounded different, but her laugh felt completely effortless. Then of course there was the hilarious recording for The Fate of Ophelia. Max Martin tries to give her notes and feedback.
Is there any way you can get the so I like that on the second half you're singing I was been in the power as I said at the dark.
But then she goes back to whatever she was doing and he's like, no, check it out.
Is that what you're talking about?
No. So you're saying something with the grit.
The producers were struggling a bit to understand what she was trying to do, with Max Martin even saying, maybe those notes are not exactly, or maybe they are.
Can we try? I'm going to remember those notes. Maybe those notes are not exactly, but maybe they are. But if we play from the...
Of course, when you're creating something new, it's going to be a little rough at first, but the internet trolled her and kept asking, why did she think to even release this? Better yet, why did she make people buy this? Fans felt like this album and rollout was Taylor trying too hard, and that she's a pop girl who fears fading away, a fear that Taylor has opened up about, as I'll get to later. Fans felt like nothing was fresh or authentic anymore, that she'd run out of things to say because she won't stop releasing albums. Even in tracks like Eldest Daughter, it feels like Taylor is leaning into the eldest daughter narrative, almost like she's jumping on another point of relatability. Listeners felt like she was reaching for something to complain about, playing the underdog, when she's literally the only daughter with just one younger brother. She had a privileged upbringing in a wealthy, well-connected family, and her dad was very hands-on behind the scenes. He pulled all kinds of strings to make sure people would pay attention to Taylor Swift, such as the Nashville Duck Drop event, when he secured Taylor a performance spot by leveraging his own boat to help event organizers collect thousands of rubber ducks. Many of the moves made at the start of Taylor's career weren't random, they were calculated. And we actually broke this all down in my video, The Shady Parents of Taylor Swift, so go check that out if you haven't. The issue isn't that she can't write, it's that there is no real weight behind this song. People pointed out that being the eldest daughter hits differently if you're from an immigrant or working class family. For Taylor, it feels like she's glamorizing a struggle that never really applied to her. Her idea of oppression here is basically, I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage. She sings about being on a trampoline in someone's backyard at the age of 8 or 9, then she broke her arm and learned about cautious discretion. She also reveals that she used to not believe in marriage, but that was a lie. As we can see, she's grasping at straws for a theme of struggle because Taylor Swift has always won. And if she didn't win for half a second, she eventually gets her way and buries your career as we saw in Father Figure. Every eldest daughter was the first lamb to the slaughter, so we all dressed up as wolves and we looked fire. I feel like she can't relate to the lyrics, but wants to make them relatable. Maybe she felt like she needed to be successful, and this is a theme we will explore in the Psychology of Taylor Swift video. Trust me, you don't want to miss the video or the live premiere more specifically, so put those post notifications on. Now, on top of the cringy lyrics and her craving for relatability, her fans still felt like they couldn't relate. One fan said, being cancelled while wearing Gucci, calling women bitches, complaining about the internet, hollow, unspecific love, the life of a showgirl is not relatable to us common people in all of the worst ways. At this point, it's starting to feel like burnout disguised as brilliance. Taylor doesn't stop. Albums, tours, re-records, movie deals, it's non-stop motion. One fan said, look, the problem with the life of a showgirl is that, maybe for the first time in her music career, Taylor Swift has nothing to say. Fans have complained that this era feels more like a business move rather than a writer actually enjoying the process of making music, so the inspiration fell flat while the cash grabs continued flowing. But the thing is, when you move that fast, you start recycling yourself, or in this case, recycling sounds that sound very similar to other songs. Fans have been saying it feels like she's creating out of obligation, not inspiration. It's like she's too aware of her own brand now. Every move is strategic, not spontaneous. Everyone keeps crying that they missed the old Taylor before she became a brand, even though I personally think she was always a brand, and you guys are just now realizing that. Someone said, does Taylor Swift know she doesn't have to release an album every year and is allowed to take a couple of years to make something actually good? When you look back at 1989 or Reputation, those eras had such strong sonic identities. You knew exactly what world you were stepping into. 1989 had that glossy city pop sparkle. Reputation was all bite, snakes, and synths. But the life of a showgirl doesn't feel like a reinvention, it kind of feels like a remix. She's mimicking past selves instead of evolving them in hopes of a hit that sticks. She sees everything people say about her, and one of the biggest criticisms is that Taylor has the numbers but not the impact. A #1 hit in Taylor's world doesn't always mean a song the world's actually obsessed with. For example, Fortnite went #1 in 2024, but so did a bar song Tipsy by Shabuzi. Which song do you think had more impact? I think the song that spent 20 weeks at #1 and is certified diamond. There's a sense she's chasing the high of those eras without realizing what made them work. Risk. Showgirl plays it safe. It's like Taylor's dressed up for the aesthetic, but didn't bother to put in the effort to sound different for once, to experiment with a new sound, or step out of her comfort zone a bit. You can hear that creative fatigue in the lyrics, which brings me to the next part. Cringecore, the lyrics, music, and feuds. People didn't like how she kept referring to people or women as bitches, considering her entire feud with Kanye West was not about the lyric of her sleeping with him, but the fact that he called her a bitch without telling her he would. At the time, it was explained that it's like an endearing term, but even in the context of her lyrics, it's used as an insult. A fan said, 2 days later, and the way Taylor keeps calling women bitch/bitches on Showgirl is still annoying me, like what's her problem? Another said, you just have to laugh, in response to her lyrics where she's calling women bitches, yet in her Instagram post against Kanye, she points out that Kanye called her a bitch. She even signed an Instagram post as childless cat lady, yet mocked those in wishlist saying they want those 3 dogs that they call their kids. And the thing with Taylor when she curses, it feels like she's just got approval to curse 13 days ago and she like really wants to put her all in it.
Of the dance hall, the bitches bitches who'd wish I'd hurry up and die.
There are a couple of cringy lyrics on the album, but the one that truly got everyone is Cancelled. And while I like the vibe and the idea behind the song, or the mere fact that if you ever Google Taylor Swift Cancelled, that song will come up, everyone felt like it was giving Debbie Ryan, that salute scene from Ginny and Georgia, Performative Alliance during 2020. People also thought Taylor was throwing shade at Travis's exes. Before Taylor, Travis reportedly only dated black women. Now he's with someone completely different. In Opalite, she sings, "You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night." And people have read onyx as a reference to his past partners since it's a deep, rich black color. Then she sings, "But now the sky is opalite, a milky white with iridescent blue hues." Now, do I think Taylor is shading his black exes compared to herself as his current white partner? No. To me, it feels more metaphorical. From dark, restless nights, think midnights, to brightness, clarity, and calm. The sky is blue and the sun is shining. But this also touches on Taylor's insecurity. Maybe she feels a little self-conscious, knowing the internet might think, and has said, this is who bro went for?
My life doesn't gravitate towards being edgy, sexy, or cool. I just naturally am not any of those things.
What are you in your head? What are you?
I'm imaginative, I'm smart, and I'm hardworking.
Because athletes usually have a stereotype of who they date, and even though Taylor herself fits the conventional standard of beauty, white, blonde, blue-eyed, she hasn't always been framed as sexy. I don't think she's necessarily shading anyone, but back to the cringy lyrics and the standard Taylor is held to. Did you girl boss too close to the sun? Did they catch you having too much fun?
Oh, that's no. In the sense that, no. You know what I mean?
People had higher expectations for the Shakespeare of our generation. They didn't expect AI rewritten TikTok lingo. They felt like it was cheesy. But here's the thing. For many years, Swifties would hail Taylor as a songwriter of our generation while putting down other artists for their fun lyrics. I remember Justin Bieber's Yummy getting destroyed in comparison. And even Ariana Grande's song, Successful. That said, there's a time and place for deep versus fun lyrics. Most artists have songs in both categories, so I get where Taylor was going with it. It's still giving try-hard cringe millennial, here's another high school analogy even though I'm 35, but I still want the approval of 17-year-olds. People also felt like she was defending Blake Lively in Cancelled. Judging by their public fallout, I don't really think that was the case, and reports are saying that Taylor is pissed that Blake would even try to weaponize or leverage their friendship, so check out my video on Taylor and Blake's friendship fallout for more information. This brings me to what I've been saying about Taylor all along. She's nice and cute when you fall in line. But if you need anything from her or you stray from your script, it's not going to be pretty. And if you have a problem with Taylor, then you're the problem, not her. We see this in Actually Romantic, her diss to Charli XCX, who didn't really diss her, she just had a problem with Taylor monopolizing the charts and conveniently and strategically releasing UK-specific variants to block Brat because no one was listening to Tortured Poets that summer, we wanted to have fun. And yet Taylor took it personally. I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Cokes got you brave.
What the hell is this?
That was really uncalled for. Considering Sympathy is a Knife, the track believed to be about Taylor, was denied as a diss track with Charli saying that the song was about her own feelings of insecurity and anxiety.
It's hard to be constantly scrutinized for things that you have said. It's hard for your words to be taken out of context and then really kind of feel that you just can't defend yourself because that would open a whole other can of worms, you know? And so Sympathy is a Knife, the remix version, it was kind of about me recognizing that and me understanding that I was being a little bit manipulated or there were kind of other agendas at play, and I'd never felt that before.
Charli was someone who was previously adopted as Taylor's pop bestie of the season. She opened up for her on the Reputation tour and was brought out as a guest on the 1989 tour. Friendly or not, Taylor is a very dominant personality, and I think releasing UK-specific variants that week was uncalled for, as Tortured Poets already hit #1, but she was aiming to break more specific records. But Charli, who's married to George Daniel, the drummer and producer of the 1975, aka Maddie Healy's band, who Taylor dated and also had a decade-long situationship with, hits a trigger point for Taylor. So despite being engaged, she has to take a knife to Charli and reveal that Charli reportedly high-fived Maddie and said he's glad he ghosted her. In Sympathy is a Knife, Charli sings, "I don't want to share the space, I don't want to force a smile, this one girl taps my insecurities." In the second verse, she says, "Don't want to see her backstage at my boyfriend's show, fingers crossed behind my back, I hope they break up quick." And the chorus hits, "'cause I couldn't even be her if I tried." But in Actually Romantic, the subject of the song is portrayed as obsessed with Taylor, where it's borderline romantic with her singing, "You think I'm tacky, baby, stop talking dirty to me," and that, "I don't provoke it, it's kind of making me wet, no man has ever loved me like you do." It's quite bold of Taylor, but it goes back to this theme where if you have a problem with Taylor and you think she should be cancelled, really, you're the problem, not her. I think Cancelled was Taylor's attempt at trolling the media and the general public for always wanting to cancel someone, belittling it as being successful or having too much fun. People were trying to bring attention to Taylor's greedy music ways, how she's trying to monopolize the charts, her feuds with younger stars, more specifically Olivia Rodrigo, who got sued for less similarities on her songs than Taylor's songs now, how she's a billionaire who has done irreversible damage to the climate with her excessive private jet usage. But I guess it was because she girl bossed too close to the sun. People also started to draw comparisons between the lyrics we got when she was dating Joe Alwyn versus dating and being engaged to Travis Kelce. This drew a lot of comparisons between the Folklore and Evermore albums versus this Showgirl album. The internet made fun of Travis's intellectual ability, saying that she simplified the lyrics for him to understand, even though only one of them has a bachelor's degree. The lyrics of Wood were particularly a trigger for people. "Forgive me, it sounds cocky, he Ahmatized me and opened my eyes, redwood tree, it ain't hard to see, his love was the key that opened my thighs." Yeah, not her best work. So is Travis Kelce a bad muse, or do people only respect depressed Taylor? I think people are obsessed with sad Taylor and the sad aesthetic in general. People tend to respect musicians with darker, more depressing lyrics because it feels like it signals being taken seriously. Pop music, the culture, and teenage fans have always been belittled and dismissed as not serious enough. That's why Taylor got so much respect with Folklore and Evermore. Plus, it dropped during COVID when everyone was stuck at home. Taylor wasn't trying too hard, and it all felt effortless. When you're not actively fishing for attention, things just land. But before that, she released Lover, which has some of the cringiest lyrics on earth. I mean, hello, the lyrics of Me were so cringe that she specifically cut the "Hey kids, spelling is fun" part now and pretends it never existed. Here is the tea. Taylor has always been a little cringy, and that's fine. She's not this insane genius. She has great lyrics, and I'm a big fan of a lot of the songs on the Showgirl album, funny enough. But draw a cat eye sharp enough to kill a man? Come on. I actively cringe every time I hear that. Karma is my boyfriend, me and Karma vibe like that. You need to calm down, you're being too loud. And I'm just like, you need to just stop. Can you just not step on my gown? The Man, I Forgot That You Existed, Bejeweled, I mean the list goes on and on. She always had cringy lyrics, and I felt like I was the only one who wasn't enjoying what Taylor was releasing. So when Showgirl came out, and it was very much Taylor Swift millennial cringe, I enjoyed it because I never held her to this insane level of pop stardom and that no one can do what she can. And that's not fair because she's very resilient and has incredibly cool ideas. But she's not this music innovator who always takes risks and drops insane hooks. She's always been someone inspired as hell by the indie music genre and trying to be taken cool and seriously by those listeners, hence the 1975 craze and the lyric from We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, which is, "And you would hide away and find your peace of mind with some indie record that's much cooler than mine." So when Taylor has always released these types of lyrics, I'm sure in her head she's like, but I've always done this and it worked before.
This is my 12th album release. I think it's absolutely been my favorite one
That's
so
fantastic.
far. I'm blown away.
People get over the cringy lyrics and eventually it ages well. That's why she said,
What I often love seeing my fans say is, I used to be someone who didn't relate to Reputation, and now that I've been through some other things in my life, that's my favorite album. Or I used to be a like fearless girly, now I'm obsessed with Evermore. Like,
she holds her songs and art at such a high value, and it works in her favor because people later respect it so much, even though they hated it in the beginning.
I have such an eye on legacy when I'm making my music. I know what I made. I know I adore it. On the theme of what the Showgirl is, all of this is part of it.
I've seen this with Lover and how people reflect on that era now, and it got its flowers during the Eras tour. But when it first came out, the numbers were abysmally low, the feedback wasn't that great, she wasn't charting that high, and it hit her. Pop music is about to phase her out. She took the L and finally allowed herself to reset in COVID and eventually found a sound that people respected. The fear of fading, overexposure, and self-awareness. Is this all rooted in Taylor's fear of irrelevance? Thematically, Showgirl can be read as a cry for validation masked by confidence. The performer metaphor, a woman who can't stop performing even when she's tired. In Miss Americana, Taylor actually opens up about this fear of fading, especially as she was approaching 30. She talks about how in our industry, women get tossed aside by 35, calling it an elephant graveyard for female entertainers. It really shows why she's always pushing herself to stay relevant and keep evolving, especially in an industry that often sidelines women as they get older. She also once said that she is always living in fear of people turning on her. She told Vogue in 2012, "This is what I've wanted to do my whole life. It never freaks me out, never, ever. But you know what does freak me out? When is the other shoe going to drop? I am so happy right now, so I'm always living in fear. This can't be real, right? This can't really be my life." And after experiencing the kind of worldwide love and fame Taylor has, record-breaking tours, sold-out arenas, the whole world singing along, no one could really handle fading into irrelevance. And history shows that's not easy. Take Liam Payne for example. He had the world at his feet during One Direction, and then the dopamine crash hit hard when the spotlight dimmed and no one cared as much anymore. Or look at other 2010 stars like Katy Perry, Avril Lavigne, or even Nicki Minaj. Once they hit a peak, their cultural dominance faded, leaving Taylor as one of the few from that era still reigning. That's why this hunger for validation runs so deep for her. She's built an empire, and anyone who challenges it or crosses her, well, Taylor's not letting that slide. Will Showgirl age well? Is it a flop or a bop? Fans hated Reputation when it first dropped, and now it's basically a cult classic. Dark, dramatic, a little messy, the exact vibes that make people roll their eyes at first, only to come back years later and say, wait, she was onto something. And with Showgirl, she said that this is a type of album she's always wanted to create, and even relates the fate of Ophelia to You Belong With Me.
Tell you the rush I felt when I thought of that.
It's great!
It was the same feeling that I felt when I thought of Can't You See You Belong With Me.
Really?
Yeah.
Every Taylor era kind of follows this pattern. Start divisive, age better. Taylor knows this because she's seen it happen time and time again. The Lover album was hated and Cruel Summer was paid dust, until the Eras tour came around. Suddenly, everyone was obsessed with that bridge and the song itself. Originally debuting at number 29 on the Billboard charts, it eventually climbed to number 1 years after its release. Maybe part of the buzz had to do with her little feud with Olivia Rodrigo after Olivia got called out for taking inspiration for Deja Vu, a song that honestly doesn't sound anything like Cruel Summer, but check out our video on Olivia and Taylor's feud, aka Don't Meet Your Hero. And if you want an inside look as to what exactly happened between Taylor and Olivia, well, I had a source spill the inside deets to me 2 years ago. I'll link my blog post down below. But back to Showgirl, is it a flop or a bop? Personally, I think it's a solid pop album. There are a handful of bops that are genuinely fun once you tune out some of the cringe. It's not groundbreaking lyrically, but it doesn't have to be. It does exactly what a fun pop album should do. I actually love the concept behind the title track with Sabrina Carpenter, where the album wraps up with them saying, "Bye, I hope you enjoyed the show." It's such a cute way to close it out. That said, some choices feel totally out of place, like referencing her high school friend who passed away and ruined the friendship. She keeps singing, "Should've kissed you anyway." Like, why is this on the album? And does anyone else think it kinda gives the same vibes as Sex by the 1975, especially with the repetitive, "she's got a boyfriend anyway" lines? I haven't seen anyone mention that, but it's a little uncanny. I get the nostalgia, but Taylor's engaged now, so it lands awkwardly, like it's just there for high schoolers to latch onto. And then there's Wishlist, Tay-Tay using the $sign in 2025. That was cute in 2016, but now it's feeling dated. The lyrics are also very mediocre. They want it all, and they should have what they want. They deserve what they want. It's like, okay, thanks. Honey is even more forgettable, and don't get me started on the lyrics. You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. I could have written that. Then she tells this weird story where every time someone called her sweetheart, it was passive aggressive, and the aka the other girl was telling Taylor to back off because her man was checking Taylor out. You are a grown woman, give it a rest. Elizabeth Taylor kicks off with her yelling the name, then somehow pivots to talking about Portofino. As a New Yorker, I love a New York mention, so be my NY when Hollywood hates me is a cute play on words like be my home when everyone in that world hates me, except that no one hates you in Hollywood as you run and get the credit that no one else gets. Also, Taylor is what we call here in New York as a transplant. It's not someone who's a real New Yorker, it's usually a privileged rich person who can afford to romanticize the parts of New York that aren't actually New York. There's a lot of brand name and luxury drops on this album, which makes her feel a little less relatable. Ironic considering relatability is kind of her thing. Actually Romantic lands as an okay diss track, and Wood and Cancelled are totally digestible. As for the songs I actually enjoy, I like The Fate of Ophelia, Opalite, Father Figure, and Eldest Daughter. I also love the concept of the Life of a Showgirl track, and Sabrina Carpenter really elevates it. Those witty lyrics feel natural for her, making the song come alive, where it can feel a little like a mask for Taylor. I listen to Taylor a lot. The Tortured Poets department is on heavy rotation for me, and she's the perfect background music when I'm working. So long story short, I don't think Showgirl is nearly as bad as people make it out to be. I've never held Taylor to some impossible pop standard. I can recognize mediocrity while still appreciating her strengths. But those are my thoughts, and now I want to hear yours. What are your top 3 on the album, and what are your least favorite tracks? Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Stay tuned for the Psychology of Taylor Swift, which is the next Taylor Swift video. Like and subscribe for new videos every single week. Put those post notifications on so you don't miss the live chat premiere we do for every single video. Follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.